Now, a 101 special presentation, only on DirecTV.
Derek started writing some songs and sending me demos early 2006.
The only rule I was going to have on this record was to write about the things that I fear most.
You can't rush something like this. You can't rush creativity. It just has to happen.
You know, we hadn't practiced or played together in a long time. And I think it felt great. I think it actually felt better than ever because we've never really been a band that rehearses or practices or works on stuff. We've always done everything in the studio, and we're recording the songs as we're learning them. I told the guys that I want them to be a part of the music from the very beginning, and that I was going to show them my demos. Even if it was just 20 seconds of a song, I was going to show it to them and let them grow with the song. I was really nervous to do that because a lot of the times, if you hear my first idea of anything, it's terrible. It's usually awful, and a lot of times I don't even end up using a lot of the stuff that I come up with, and I only show people the stuff that I've kind of weeded through, and I've picked the 12 best ones. So I told the guys this time around, I'm going to show you guys stuff. Don't get scared because a lot of it's going to suck and a lot of it's not going to make sense, but I want you to understand, you know, where I start with something and where I'm going to take it. And I think that really helped with the rest of the band feeling, you know, having a part of it from the very beginning.
You know, in the last few years, getting a little serious. Like, you know, the music was getting harder, the music was getting a lot heavier. We weren't the same band that we were 5 or 6 years ago. So I think we discussed how we wanted to, like, you know, we just wanted to think, like, why were we in a band in the first place?
All of us knew what we wanted and what we wanted to achieve with this album, and we wanted this sort of unified idea, not necessarily concept album, but something that just is like one single thing that's all sort of related to each other. All the songs fit in somewhere, and it's like a whole new way of looking at making a record. And I think this is the right way to do it. You should think it through. You know, what are you thinking right now?
This is how you justify it, because it may be artistically interesting as far as the music goes, and it's, you know, it's you know, there's a lot going on, but it's still melodic. And the only time bands and fans separate and they're like, what was that? When like Radiohead puts out like Whales, you know, and that's what the record sounds like. And then they completely you know, abandon melody. Yeah. Like, as long as it's catchy, kids don't give.
That's what I was gonna say. I think this album is what we used to be, but just more stuff involved in it.
Well, it's just not like as far as our tastes go, but it's the last 3 albums as far as how technically we've developed as musicians, right?
Yeah.
You know, like whittle things out. Like that's the beauty of it, is that the meat of this stuff's there.
Yeah.
You know, we're not reinventing the wheel. We just want to put rims on it.
Yes.
Rims and spin. So we got the wheel, right? The songs. And then we got any number of rims. And then you're just gonna interchange them, and then one of them will look dope.
Yeah.
It'll look dope.
Shiny chrome.
Yeah. All right. So this is good. I love it.
We're all drinking out here.
Our new sponsor. Yeah.
We look so gay right
now. Yeah, we look totally good. Can you blend these out and superimpose a beer?
Yeah.
Superimpose a beer.
Let's do the whole thing over again. Let's go get some beers.
Get some beers. All right, let's get in there.
With all the ideas that I had of where I wanted to take certain parts of the music, because when I started out, I knew I wanted to make the most artistic punk rock record I could, but I didn't want to take it so far that it was unlistenable. Like, I wanted to push boundaries of what I thought my music could be and what I thought just punk rock music could mean, but keep it melodic and make it still catchy enough and, you know, endearing enough that people will still like it, even though it's kind of going out there a little bit.
You can just kind of hear it that we're actually the tightest that we've ever been, because we were playing the songs so much that they actually just became as natural as playing one of our old albums.
What's that ending?
Ends on the beat.
Yeah. I mean, when I write something, I usually have a pretty clear vision of how I can hear it in my head, even though it's not done yet. I can hear where I want to take it. And I guess when Cone heard it, he had a different view of where it should go. So he had his take on it, and I had my take on it. And so we definitely butted heads. I don't know, the high stuff really jumps out to me as like, I don't know what it is about it. It's something that I just don't like the sound of it or something. Really? The problem is, like, you're the bass, you know what I mean? Like, so when you go way up high, it's like, it's not a bass anymore. It's like,
It's still like pretty bassy.
Yeah, but it's like, it's not like, you know, it's not the foundation of the song. Like this note, and the low E is like the bigness of the song. You know, the guitars are just kind of filling in the notes and adding some, you know, some movement and some like attitude and stuff. But this, like, low B and like F sharp and G sharp and low E is the song. You know, I didn't like write it and go, that's not the song. It's, you know.
But I mean, you wrote it like that, but doesn't mean the bass can't do something different.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that, though.
Everyone's going to voice their opinion, especially on their own parts and their own instruments. If you don't have arguments, it's not like a really healthy relationship. I mean, we just both wanted the best for the song. I had parts that I had made up on bass that Derek didn't necessarily like, and then he would say, why don't you play this? And I didn't necessarily like what he wanted me to play, and so we had to kind of meet in the middle.
It doesn't matter to me. I could take that one or leave it. I could take that one or leave that one.
You don't care about that one.
No, so if you really don't like it,
Let me hear it again.
I'm not fighting for that one.
Rolls always are good with high bass.
I mean, yeah, it works.
If something came up, Derek would come over and we'd practice it right away. And that was fun, you know, because it was like we were coming up with stuff off the cuff and everything. But, I mean, that's not to say that I'd say 90% of the album was developed, you know, in his little cave that he's got, that he's holed up in all the time.
Now we're gone to use the feel. Every time I'm writing an album, I get really paranoid and I'm thinking, I don't know how to write songs anymore. I don't know what's going on. I've got writer's block. And then all of a sudden, it's just done. I'm like, how did that happen? It felt like I was struggling this whole time, and all of a sudden I have this album that I really like. And that happened with this time, and it was, you know, it was taking a really long time. I spent probably 10 months writing songs.
Lyrically, I think Derek just had more time to sit and actually think about what he wanted to write about, and take his time and not feel any pressure. Just that there was no deadlines.
You know, when I started writing, I had to decide in the